You two had to have some intense chemistry for this movie to work, and you both did what needed to be done. But how did you build this connection? It was so intense.
It was.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I feel like I can only take credit for some of it, and the other just feels like some divine thing because it was definitely like a really big spiritual, like cosmic celebration. And I think we were both in a place where we were like unbecoming and finding ourselves and just uh like we just but like I don't know, I just found like it's just like it was a soothing of souls, like, oh, you've been going through the world in a similar way, we both just we hadn't figured out how to surrender to being in our bodies, if we're being honest. And so just being able to like have that type of honest, reciprocated like intimacy while you're building a friendship and stepping into this wild story was just like pretty divine.
Also, stripping is not easy work, but actually being able to pole dance is even harder. People just don't understand. And Taylor, you looked amazing and you had some skills. So I
Thank
want to know,
you.
did you train for this role or were you taking pole dancing classes already?
Oh yeah, thank you. I well actually no. So I started working at Crazy Girls for 4 weeks in Hollywood. I went by first I was going by Lola. They're like, we already have a Lola. So then I went by Zoe. And then sorry, wait, sorry. And then I and then I yeah, so I was working at the strip club for 4 weeks, and then I also took privates with this guy Miles, who goes by Young Pole Master. And I worked with this girl Kashina in Tampa, and I worked with yeah, I trained a little bit, but I didn't want to look like a ballerina or a trained dancer. I wanted to look like a
No,
stripper.
you did it. You nailed it.
Thank
You really
you.
did. And Riley, the movie is mainly from Zola's perspective. So were you able to get in touch with the real Stephanie, Jessica, to understand how to portray her, or was it mainly Zola's recount of her?
That was a beautiful Freudian slip just now, but it was very appropriate. I, the film was really based off of Zola's Twitter thread and Zola's experience more than being totally accurate to, everyone's experience and taking everyone's thoughts into consideration. It was very much Zola's voice, Zola's story, how she perceived this person, how she felt. And so that's really, I was basing the character off of Zola's Twitter thread and the script, and so yeah, I think that it was just, a combination of many lived experiences and the Twitter thread and really the script. That's really what I was really sort of, that was where I got most of the character, was the script. Jeremy and Janixa had written a very incredibly fleshed out version of this demon.
Demon is the word. That definitely brought this tweet thread to life. So really congratulations. I'm so excited for everyone to see it. And yeah, that's all my time.
Oh no,
Thank
thank you so much. It was good to see you again, by the way.
Good seeing you too. Bye.
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 Did either of you guys know about this tweet thread, or am I the only one having to get caught up? And if you didn't know, what was your reaction to this crazy true story? Either of you.
Well,
Colman, you
I
go.
was never a huge Twitter guy, so I guess I missed the whole thing. And then when I read the script for the first time and I saw that it was a real thing and an actual thing and a real Zola and a real X, and when we start to research that, I thought my mind was just blown. But it's also, that's like that 48 hours. I'm like, that's what you do when you're young and you get caught up in stuff when you're just saying yes and you're available. And so I think, I don't know, it wasn't so surprising, yet it was shocking.
All right.
Yeah. Same. I'm not a Twitter guy really. So I wasn't, a lot of people said, yeah, I was there. I watched every tweet come in and I was following it, but I didn't either. So yeah, I read it. It felt just really real. Like I've never been in a situation like that, but it just felt like, yeah, it feels right. And this cast of characters seems like they would be to some dark, weird sort of corner
Yet
of
fun.
Tampa. Yet, kind of fun, or it seems like it might be when they get there, but it isn't. Derek's like, when are we going to drink the pina coladas? Like, and there aren't any.
It was very Florida. It was very Florida. But so Nick, the ladies have to show some skin in the movie, but they're not the only ones. You had a little bit of a stripping scene yourself. Does it ever make you nervous to be like, oh gosh, they're gonna be zooming in on my butt, like everyone's gonna be watching my body?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the scene with Colman, and I was just worried about him looking at me and staring at my abs and my butt and stuff.
Judging your abs and butt.
Yeah. He wanted to do a take where he spanked me. I was like, no, that's not a part of the scene, man.
I was in character. Look, X was ready to turn anything out. Anything that was going to make a buck. And you look at that tall, 6'5" gorgeous man. He might be, worth a couple dollars.
Yeah, you could sell that guy. Yeah. He's worth something on the streets.
And Colman, you really scared me when you switched up to that thick accent. I was with you, and then you switched up. Did you take lessons to get this accent down, or is this within you?
Well, it's not within me, but yes, I did have a coach for my dialect, and we knew that the character. What we wanted to do is make have some dramatic license with it. I knew that this is a man of Nigerian descent who was appropriating American colloquialisms, because they were like, even in the tweet, they were like, suddenly he had this Nigerian accent. So I wanted to make sure that it was like this dude who's sort of been living in like, whether it's Atlanta and Florida and other places, and he's really adopted African-American colloquialisms. And then we heard that Nigerian. I still wanted to be, I didn't want it to be exactly Niger, because I wanted to respect my Niger friends as well, but I wanted to be close enough, but to know that it has been altered because of his experience of living in America. So it was a choice. Everything, I think, we try to detail it to make sure it's honest in some way.
You thought that through. I like that.
Thank you.
All right.
That's what I do. All right.
I like thinking of it as not being fully Nigerian because he is mixed with this American culture. I like what you're thinking, Colman.
Come on. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, that is all my time for today. I took up too much time reminiscing, but you guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
Nice to see you. Bye. Janixa and Jeremy, what made you want to turn this tweet thread from 2015 into a movie? Like, how did this come about in your mind?
Have you read the Twitter thread?
I mean, I actually just got familiar with it. I don't know where I was in 2015.
That's okay, but I would get mad at some of your friends because if you didn't find it, they should have sent it to you.
Right.
It reads like a movie. As I read it, from one tweet to the next, I was like, I can see the movie. I know how I want to shoot this. I know what it looks like. I know what they're wearing. I know what these locations are. Get me to Florida. Please let me shoot this on 16 millimeter. I know, at least I have a pretty intimate sense of how I would like to visually piece together this world. I thought Zola did such a good job of painting the movie for me. And so my job was to stay within the brush strokes that she had already put down.
Yeah. And I think for me, like, it had every element of my favorite Janixa Bravo films, my favorite things that I'm writing, and my favorite movies that I've seen before, which are chaotic white women, a really intelligent, like emotionally complex Black woman at its core, a Pisces, and then a wild adventure that takes you from a place of stability to a place of instability, and a constant feeling that that stability that you once had might not ever happen again, because the chaotic white woman is just like to every part of your foundational core. That was something that drew me to it and made me so excited that not only was I getting to do this, but I got to do this with someone who I think is such a master of all of those elements in Janixa. I mean, because if you haven't seen her films, you'll know what I'm talking about. Watch Woman in Deep.
Yes, I know her films. I know what you're talking about. I love the chaotic white woman. This is all. This is it. Yes.
Love a white woman. What can I say?
And Zola, what made you think to actually tweet all of this? And at any point, were you thinking like, I might die. I might not make it out this experience?
Absolutely. I was thinking that the whole time, but, and I've said this before, for whatever reason, I never felt like threatened by him or her. Like I knew what situation they had got me in, and I was very aware after I became aware of what was going on. But I guess I felt like I was smarter than everybody in the room. So I was kind of like invincible. It's like I'm 10 steps ahead of you already. Like, so I was just there for the ride at that point, because you just can't slick a can of oil, child. I already knew what was going on. Like, and why I told it, I had tweeted it when I first got home. But I didn't go in depth. I was just like, you guys, guess what happened? Like, you'll never believe it. And so I just really briefly went through it, but I was still living at the house that they picked me up from. I still had the same number. I was still working at the same place. So, and they were still doing what they were doing. So I was, not really ready to process it and tell it to the world the way that I did the second time. So once I moved and I processed and I healed from the experience, I then looked back. You know how they say you can look back at this and laugh? It was one of those. I was like, actually, that shit was fucking crazy. I think I should tell everyone. Like, so then I just went in depth with it.
Well, I'm so glad you did, because it's an unbelievable story. And it's just crazy that it's true. But that's all my time, guys. I love that this was made into a film. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, Parris. And I love your tank top. It's gorgeous.
Good time.